All right, everybody. Hey, it's Dusty and Patrick with Loon Advertising coming to you live from the I-10 in Katy, Texas, outside of a Buc-ee's parking lot. I'm Dusty.
I'm Patrick.
And together, we're on the road with Loon. So I'm Dusty Sutherland. I'm the Vice President of Account Management with Loon Advertising. I've been with Loon Advertising since Loon Advertising's been Loon Advertising. Patrick?
I am Patrick Bruce. I am one of our account managers at Loon Advertising. I have been here for about 4.5 months now, handling a lot of our dealers out down here in Texas. And this is our road trip to all of our I guess Eastern Texas dealers.
That's right. So started off this morning in Houston, Texas, and now we're heading up north. And then we're going to go up north tomorrow, and then a little bit farther Wednesday, and then back towards Houston, and then try to get home. I got to get back home to Ohio, and actually Patrick lives in Houston, so
Indeed.
This is I was asking him, I've never seen anybody drive through Houston, Texas without navigation. He was just straight up just knowing exactly where he was going, so I was trusting life here. But we wanted to get on LinkedIn Live and just talk about all things programmatic advertising and account management, and hopefully folks that are watching, feel free to ask a ton of questions. But we actually had some mail-in questions that were sent to us. And so we're going to get started. And you have a question?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and start with some of the account management questions.
Okay, let's do it.
So one of the questions we got in was, what skills or qualities make someone a great account manager? And honestly, in my opinion, the things that makes a good account manager is just being able to listen to your clients.
Yeah.
Something that, Dusty tells me all the time is that we need somebody to be a client. Yeah. You don't have to be a programmatic expert. You don't got to be, the most technical person. You just got to be able to know what your client needs and figure out how to solve that problem.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the best qualities of a good account manager, somebody who listens to their clients, understands their issues, understands how their business runs, so that you can better I guess, work within their systems rather than just working your own.
Yeah, I would agree. I think a couple of the things that's really important is really, digging in with the client and listening to what some of their biggest business objectives are. As a matter of fact, whenever we start a relationship, understanding the business objectives of the dealer is the most important thing. So one thing that I like to say is we try to align wins as often as possible. So if I come in and just start talking about data, but that data you can't feel the data on the ground, you can't actually feel the customers coming in, then obviously we're not doing our job to the utmost. So what we want to do is ensure that the dealer's wins and our wins are aligned. So the customers, when we talk to them, that they're actually feeling some of the results that we're giving, not just seeing the results through the computer. So I think on top of that, being able to explain some very complicated stuff, because programmatic advertising and OTT is very complicated. And it can also be pretty murky too, right? Like,
oh, yeah,
what some of the data actually means, and understanding the context of what that data is. Like, one of the questions I got is, how does programmatic CTV differ from traditional TV deals? And let me explain what those two things are. So programmatic, simply put, is the ability to target a customer based on what they're in the market for, or based on who they are. So in advertising, you've got two types of things that you really want to kind of concern yourself with in messaging. And one is demographic, and the other is psychographic. So demographic is the whom, people that make X amount of money, that have a 700 credit score, people that, have 3 kids or own their own home. That's a demographic. Whereas a psychographic is the whys somebody does something. They buy a Subaru because they like the outdoors. They buy an F-150 because they enjoy hauling RVs, or whatever the case may be. That's what the psychographic and demographic. We use those two things to target customers no matter where they are. So if you come to us and say, Dusty, we have a business objective that we need to sell what?
We need to sell more F-150s.
We need to sell more F-150s. Okay, perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to find those customers inside of what's called a DSP, which is a demand side platform. It's where all the data is housed. And we find customers that look like people that would buy trucks, and then we help the dealer create a message, serve that message in where the person is buying. What is the difference? Back in the day, which by the way is always a Wednesday. Whenever somebody says back in the day,
Always a Wednesday.
it's always a Wednesday.
Noted.
Yeah, write that down. Take note. So when you would go buy a TV traditional buy, it was based on a time slot and an estimated audience. So you would say 6:30 news hour slot B, which means, you know, during the second break, during the 6:30 news hour, you would actually catch, you would try to catch X amount of people, like say 60,000 or something like that. So you're buying the show and you hope that people are watching. So you would buy the news, or you would buy live sports, or, you know, like the Reds or the Astros or whatever's playing on TV. And you would buy that slot and hope that people are watching. Programmatic CTV or connected TV or streaming TV, whatever you want to call it, or OTT, over the top.
Just pick one.
Yeah, it's the ability to watch TV online. Kind of flips that script completely. You don't really care what the customer's watching. You care about the customer. And so what we're doing is going out and finding the customer no matter what they're watching, and then serving an ad that speaks to them no matter the situation. So if they're in market for a F-150, right, they're going to see an ad for the F-150. One of the cool things is if Patrick lives next to me, and let's say we're both into live baseball and we're both watching baseball, but he's in the market for a minivan, which, by the way, that's what we're renting right now. It's a minivan. It's actually kind of nice.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot nicer than I thought it was.
It's a smooth ride. So if he's in the market for a minivan and I'm in the market for a pickup truck, even though we're watching the same show, we're not the same person. He would see an ad for a minivan and I would see an ad for a pickup truck. Conversely, if we're both watching two different shows, if he's watching Is It Cake and I'm watching, I don't know, Dancing with the Stars, and we're both in the market for a truck, we're both going to see an ad for a truck. So that's kind of, that's how programmatic CTV works. You got another question?
Yeah, let's go ahead and pull another one up. So one of the questions we got is, how have you viewed the shift to streaming? That's a good question. And I think that the way that I would answer that question is, it's kind of become an inevitable thing. You know, everybody's going to be switching over to streaming. Very few people nowadays are focusing more on going and getting the actual TV, going and actually watching full-blown TV on DirecTV, whatever it may be. Everybody's switching over to all these different streaming platforms. Now we have live TV on streaming platforms like Fubo and Tubi, and all these other people have all of these different ways to actually watch what they perceive as regular TV, but it's all through a streaming platform. Mm-hmm. I think I've just perceived it as an amazing business opportunity for so many different types of, and not just car dealerships. I mean, everybody's starting to use it now. Yeah. Everybody's starting to push all of their advertising on these platforms, because I mean, everybody's using them now. Nobody, I mean, I'll tell you, for one, I don't pay for regular TV anymore. I'm not gonna go pay $200 a month for regular TV and still have to figure out what channels I want to watch, whatever I want to watch. I'm gonna go use streaming, and I can stream sports, I can stream regular TV, I can stream my TV shows, whatever it may be. And I see it as such a great opportunity for a lot of these businesses to be able to get out some more diversify their ad spend a little bit better, get some different types of advertisements out there, and really start focusing on the targeted aspect of OTT and OLV. The fact that I'm not just putting I'm not just putting an ad out in front of 100,000 people and hoping to God that there's somebody in there that wants to buy a car. I can go find the people that I know are in market for vehicles or could be in market for vehicles and put personalized advertisement out to them. I think that is such a powerful tool. I think our dealers do the same thing.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the biggest shift here is when I was in retail, and I sat in the the GSM's chair, the GM's chair, and was selling cars. One thing that I noticed is it was kind of hard to put together an ad that would speak to as many people as possible, right? Yeah. And I always, like you're trying to figure out, okay, how many offers can I get into one ad at a time? Like, do I need to do, do I need to do like 3-4 offers and get it into this 1 30-second commercial?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is where it differs with streaming TV, OLV, even all the display, the radio, everything that kind of works hand in hand. This gives you the ability to have differing messages to differing people, because if you look at your entire market, there's only 3% of your entire market, according to the NAD average, that's in market for a vehicle. So if there's 100,000 people out there, there's only 3,000 people that are in market, right? What are you saying to the other 97%? Right? Like,
Nothing.
what you need to do is be in front of those customers with a message that's pertinent. So what we tell our clients is, not only should you have an in-market message of, hey, check out this F-150, check out these leases, or check out these specials on F-150s, or Chevys, or whatever. Don't leave anybody out here. You could also say, at Joe Schmuckatelli Toyota, we're nice folks. We service cars. We sell cars. Come see us if you need us. That brand stays in front of everybody, whether they're in market or not. Also, you could have a service in front of those customers as well. So diversifying your ad spend means not just being in front of everybody that's in market, whatever they're watching or whatever they're doing. It also means being in front of as many people in your market as possible. So when they do become in market, you stay front of mind or back of the line.
Back of the line.
That's one of my favorites. I love saying front of mind or back of the line. So I think that's how things changed. I got a really great question here, and I think it's a pertinent time to bring this one up, is how can automotive advertisers take advantage of tax season? This is a very cool question. I love this question because it opens up a lot more questions. So what do you think? How would you take advantage of that?
I mean, the obvious, CTA that people can use for tax season is using your tax return to buy a new vehicle. I mean, that's just, everybody's been doing that for years. Everybody says, use your tax return to go buy a new vehicle. Use it as a down payment. Use it as this. Use it as that. And I think that is, I mean, that obviously that is the most used CTA during tax season. Mm-hmm. However, the way that we can use programmatic is being able to specifically target those people that have gotten their tax returns, that are going to be using that to be able to, put in for a new vehicle, and using demographics to be able to find the people based on, let's say we're using luxury vehicles like Lexus or like BMW, things like that. People that we know have a higher level of income, going after the people that are getting maybe a higher tax return or a lower tax return might be in a better financial situation going into tax season to be able to go buy more luxury vehicles. Yeah. So, putting it on that, and then we could also do the inverse. People that are probably going to be using that tax return need to go buy themselves a new vehicle. Maybe they're used lots.
Yeah, they need liquidity.
Like they need liquidity. They can go and we can use that on the on not just that, we can also use it for acquisitions. We can use it for service. We can use it for all kinds of things. Yeah. And just that data really gets us in front of a lot of people that have the buying ability to go buy a new used car, trade-ins, everything like that.
Yeah. So I would say tax season is one of the most, if not the most predictable buying cycles in all of automotive. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you can, what they say, death and taxes, right? That old saying. But I mean, we know when it's going to be, right? So, that many households are going to start getting their refunds between February and April. And so it often comes down payments for a lot of customers. So, if you want to increase the ability to get in front of people, most dealers already have a crafted message that would normally speak to folks that are in the market for a car, and it's in tax season. So why not utilize some programmatic targeting? And there is some really cool targeting packages that we can put together for our clients and target customers that are getting their tax returns. You can have that same message that goes from February all the way through April saying the same thing. And it can continue and stay in front of those customers. And then we can come back and, you know what? Tim Rowe's got a great question, is what about measurement? Yeah, that's a great question. There is a lot of different ways to think about measurement. And this is an important question, Tim, because this is some of the murky business that OTT can fall into if you don't understand how OTT works with your entire media mix strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about how Loon looks at it first. So number one, there's two ways that we look at it. I call it online attribution and offline attribution. Very simple ways of looking at this. Online attribution is a customer was exposed to the ad, they came to the dealer's website, and they start taking in-market actions, looking at VDPs, SRPs, VDPs, window stickers, pictures of cars, submitting leads, click-to-calls, things like that. But we're also looking for lift in visits as well. So with headless analytics, we're able to take a look and see if there's a lift in the customer's overall website traffic. And then we're going to take a look at the overall website traffic and then look down at how the customers are interacting with the website. So are we inspecting what we expect? Are customers coming to the website and are they looking at cars? Are they actually taking shopping actions? That's your online attribution. Offline attribution, well, is most everything that happens in automotive is almost all offline, which means sales, repair orders, leads, even. And this is a funny thing. Whenever I say leads, if you ask 100 people what a lead is, they'll tell you all different things
every single time.
So we say opportunities. So walk-ins, phone. Hold on, we lose everybody. Oh, we're back.
We're back.
We're able to take lead data, or we're able to take your sales data or your repair orders, and we can run it through our clean room. And first thing it asks is, did the people on this list, do they have an Amazon account? Yes or no? And if they do have an Amazon account, then the next thing it asks, were they exposed to an ad? So we can actually measure not only the online attribution is they saw the ad, came to the website, took actions, and are those quality actions? The next thing we look at is, did they buy a car? Did they submit a lead? Did they open a repair order? And did they were they exposed to the ad after that? So one of the quick questions that Kelly has is, how do you decide when to recommend a premium placement versus fast? That is a great question. And I'm going to take this because I'm going to tell you right now that I think all placements are valuable.
Indeed.
I would say this is why. In the past, whenever you had a customer that was going to buy the placements through like your traditional TV buys, like your 6:30 news hour, right? You had to go, I think customers will be there on the 6:30 news hour.
Mm-hmm.
I think the customers will be there during live baseball. I think the customers will be there during The Price is Right. Well, what if I told you that it doesn't matter where you place it, it matters who you target. So there are some recommendations that we would make from premium placement to fast placement. Depends on how they want to reach the customer and the message that they want to reach the customer at. So let's say, for instance, for a premium placement would be live sports. If it's a live sport message, or the dealer has a partner that they're working with that was either a former athlete or a current athlete, and it resonates with people that are watching, it's a great place to be. And also, if you want to be seen during that, great place to be. However, following those customers on more cost-effective fast placements are extremely important as well, because customers that were watching live sports that were in market while they were watching live sports would also be in market while they're watching everything else. So don't count out fast. I think some of those streaming channels like Tubi, Freevee, are great. I watch quite a bit of that myself, and I know a lot of people do, and it's some of the fastest growing streaming platforms out there. So I think those are great, and that's a great question, Kelly.
No, I 100% agree. I mean, there's the argument of, you know, the action of just putting us in front of the most popular placements is always a question that I get from a lot of my dealers, especially the new people we just signed on Stanley. That was a big thing for them. They were asking me all about, you know, where are we going to be seen? Where are we going to be put? And I had to kind of sit them down and explain that, Yes, while getting in front of people in those premium placements is great. Don't get me wrong, but never to count out the things like Tubi and things like that that are probably A, cheaper for a lot more people to be able to get a hold of.
Yeah.
And B, there's still a lot of people there that could be in market. You don't want to count those people out.
Yeah, don't ever count anybody in market
We
out.
want to get to as many people as we can possibly get to that are in market for vehicles.
Yeah.
And push and targeting those people specifically.
Yeah.
They're going to be everywhere, not just on the premium channels.
Yeah, cost-effective placements actually see some of our best engagement. And that's an important thing to kind of understand too, because you can ask, I think the better question is to say, instead of saying when to recommend a premium placement versus a fast placement, I would say, how do we prioritize quality control of those placements? Can you see, and I will tell you, this is something that we can do. We can look at not just the ad and how people interacted with the ad, but we can look at the ad in the placement to see if the ad at that placement had the best interactions possible, and was it providing the best quality possible. So I think the quality controls of, because you can have massive reach in streaming TV, like you can just go out and just hit as many people once as possible, or you can work on frequency. And when it comes to hitting a good decent amount of frequency, you want cost-effective placements alongside your premium placements as well. But the important question is, how do you control quality? So what we do is we take a look at reports that can tell us customers saw ad A on these placements and took these actions. If we see a lower amount of actions being taken, then it's just we have to sit down maybe and make some decisions on whether we should exclude certain placements because we're just not seeing quality actions taking place on that placement. Does that happen? Not as much as you would think. So having premium placements alongside your free channels is very important, because you want to hit the customers that are in market no matter where they are and no matter what they're watching.
100%. And Kelly, if you didn't find out, that was a fantastic question.
Yeah. So that gets me going. Other than that, I have a couple things before we're going to wrap up. We got to get back on the road. We've got to head north on the I-10. And if anybody's ever been on the I-10 in the early afternoon, it's about ready to be a parking lot. So quick question for you, Patrick. We're at Buc-ee's right now. What's your go-to order at Buc-ee's?
My go-to order at Buc-ee's is the 3-meat sandwich. It comes with sausage, chopped brisket, and smoked turkey. And it gets all that barbecue sauce on there. And there's a reason I didn't eat it before we got on this live stream, because it is going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
And it is wonderful.
Yeah, he's going to be wearing a bib.
I will be wearing a
James,
bib.
So don't worry. He will clean up before we go see any of our clients. My go-to, my favorite thing here is the Texas cheesesteak burrito. If you guys are ever in Texas or you're ever at a Buc-ee's, try the Texas cheesesteak burrito.
Oh, yeah.
Chef's kiss. It's one of the best things going.
Also, their jerky. Yeah,
try their jerky. So Tim Rogan had a pretty cool thing. It says, recently we published a research on state of streaming at $7.4 billion in streaming fraud, and it comes back to audience targeting. We also know that adds to the CPM. How do you navigate? This is a great question. Oof. So let me ask you a question. Is a high CPM bad?
No, doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be. Is a low CPM good?
Not always.
Not always.
It all depends on what you're trying to accomplish.
That is absolutely the case. Great question, Tim.
Fantastic.
And I'm going to share something with you right now. So when we talk about quality controls, when we audit or we look at the data in our clients' data, is CPM one of the things that we do take into account? Absolutely. If you have a cost-effective CPM, that means a cost-effective CPM is hitting the most amount of impressions with the best reach. So if you're targeting it and you're saying, hey, I want to target this SUV ad to people in market for SUVs, in that market, we should expect a CPM that would not only help with frequency, hitting customers enough times, but also getting a good reach of customers that are in market as well. And so, how are we able to reach those customers, and are you able to hit them enough times so you stay front of mind? So if you have a really high CPM, you're going to hit less impressions. You're going to hit a lower reach. However, if you are extremely targeted, you should expect that. So if you have a very targeted ad, and that very targeted ad only wants to hit a handful of people, you're going to have a higher CPM, because the more targeting that you place on an ad inside of a DSP does cause a higher CPM. However, low CPMs aren't necessarily good either, because it has to do with the quality of the traffic that you're getting in front of. So it all goes back to monitoring the data and inspecting what you expect from an online attribution point. Is the ad landing in front of customers? Are those customers coming to the website? Is the dealer feeling an increase of customers to the website, and are they taking actions? I hope that answers your question, Tim Rowe, but a lot of stuff goes into the CM, not just the CPM, not just the placement, but also the targeting as well.
Yep.
Other than that, so yeah, Tim says he's hungry now.
Sorry, Tim.
Yeah, sorry, Tim. Yeah, that's our favorite. My other favorite thing to get at Buc-ee's is, what happened? Oh, the car's beeping. Anyway, that's probably telling us it's time for us to go here in just a second.
But it's been off for too long.
Yeah, it says we're sitting here for too long. So we're coming up at 1 o'clock. If we don't have any more questions, we'll probably be closing up shop here in just a second, and trying to get back on the road and head back north out of Houston. But thank you all. Thanks for tuning in. God bless everybody out there, and wish us luck driving. And we'll talk to everybody soon.
Nice to see everybody. See y'all later.
Bye.